The progressive action TV show, the #1 labor and community show in New York City. I am your host and founder of Progressive Action, Tremel Thompson. Let me put my name on the screen. But check it out. I just look at my wrist. I got time today. F it, I'm crossing the line today. The hate be so real, but the love be fake. They be bumping their gums and bumping my tape. I love that Yo Gotti song. I really like it for the first 2 lines. I just look at my wrist. I got time today. F it, I'm crossing the line today. I am going to cross the line today, guys. I am going to cross the line today. And I need you guys to, I need you guys to make sure you share out this live. This live is going to be very informative, like all the other lives. We're going to talk about these mandates that's going on in New York City. We're going to talk about Local 100, President Tony Utano, and his people, because it's evident that these guys are weak. They only care for themselves, and they don't see the picture of things that's in front of them that could hurt and harm New York City transit workers. So I definitely need you guys to share out the live. Matter of fact, I need to do that myself, because this is going to be probably one of my most important lives. I'm crossing the line today. How rude of me. I didn't ask you guys how you doing. I'm going to be paying attention to what's going on Facebook while I'm live. But I'm crossing the line today, guys. Oh, yeah, so my commercials. Oh, first and foremost, I need you guys to donate to the platform. You see the Cash App on the screen right there. Oh, it's right here, right? It's right here, yeah. Donate to the Cash App, Progressive Action 100. Donations is needed. My commercial started playing on TV, as you can see. The labor and transit leader that New York City needs, Tremel Thompson. I created my own lane, and I'm advocating for the labor workforce. There's nobody really advocating for the labor workforce, and this is the issue. You know, everybody worry about people who's doing bad. You know, people who's committing crimes, people who are in jail, and that need to be paid attention to. But what also need to be paid attention to is the people who are doing the right thing or trying to do the right thing and still getting mistreated by the system, and that's where Mr. Thompson comes into play. So I need you guys to make sure you share out and tell people about Progressive Action TV, get people to join and all that other stuff. So yeah, this commercial, you'll see this flyer on TV, on cable TV. It started Monday. Yeah, so look, we're going to jump straight into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is Tony Utano. And I'm going to play a video to get you guys to see what type of character Tony Utano is. So let's jump straight into it. Why not? Why not? I feel good this morning. Let's jump straight into it.
Tragically, a local 100 member passed away after falling to his death at the 125th Street train station. TWU leadership chose to respond to it in this way.
He was a big worker, and the railing did break, yes.
Was that a smart statement to make?
We're going to do an investigation, and we're going to find out what exactly happened. And at that time, that's all I have to say.
President Utano, if you just came on the scene and a thorough investigation had not yet been done, how do you determine that his size may have played a role in the accident by mentioning he was a big worker?
Big worker, and the railing did break.
Is this how you stand up for the union you are credited with representing? No other union president in New York City would compromise their membership with such disregard in their response. And, when challenged by members of the union about his remarks, all he could gather was, "These guys are playing politics with this young man's tragic death. It's just horrible and disgraceful. This isn't a time for politics. It's time to plan a funeral and make sure his family is taken care of." If it's not a time for politics, Utano, then why try to protect the MTA's checkered past of safety complaints made by its workers by casually trying to put the blame on the physical stature of a fellow union member? President Utano is not what leadership looks like. Let's ask him what he plans to do to engage and help this young man's family. President Utano's words are rehearsed and not at all sincere, reading from the same playbook that all politicians do.
And my condolences to the family, all transit workers, and to all of New York City, to let them know that while they're home sleeping, we're out there working, and these are things that happen.
Do you recognize your president? Does he look like he represents the membership? If you answered no, you are right. This type of tragedy is capable of happening to any member of this union. Are you ready for Utano to protect the MTA and sacrifice you and your family with his lack of leadership? Now is the time for a change, for someone who will actually act on our behalf. At this point, anything is better than Utano.
Now, let's be clear here. Anything is better than Utano. And Utano, he been playing on management's side for a very long time. For a very long time. Y'all remember when this track worker died, someone from his department, he didn't blame the issues on the MTA and their lack of taking safety serious. He blamed it on a worker size. Does this seem like a union president that's for you? Could you imagine Pat Lynch saying that a police officer died because he was overweight and couldn't dodge bullets? Could you imagine that? This is the type of union leadership that we have here in Local 100. This is Tony Utano. And, you know, us at Progressive Action, we didn't let him slide with it. You see, we had a rally demanding that he retract his words and hold him to the highest standard of representing members. Because that standard that he represented that day was management standard. It wasn't member standard. He refused to apologize. He refused to retract his statements. He refused to hold the MTA accountable. Is this the kind of president that you want? This is something serious I need to ask you guys. Is this the type of president that you want? Right? Now I'm going to make it clear. I'm going to make it clear on this show, right? I'm not running this election. I got eliminated. I'm still fighting to see if what could happen. But I want to make this clear. I'm not co-signing nobody, right? I'm pointing out what's right. I'm pointing out what's wrong. I'm not saying who to vote for. I just know I'm telling you who you can't vote for. Cannot vote for Tony Utano, right? Progressive change is not progressive action. It's two totally different type of factions. I'm not running, right? And I can't afford to have another Eric happen. You know, I put Eric into play. I didn't think that he would act like that. And you can't really hold people accountable once they get in. There's nothing that you can really do if they give you your word beforehand and then they get elected in, they don't keep their word. I mean, you could do recalls and stuff like that, but realistically, you can't really do anything, right? And I can't afford to give out my cosign to anyone when I don't really know. Like, people talk and do all this, and action speaks louder than words to me. But I do support progressive change. I do think that they are the best choice that we have. Stand United is not the right choice. I do support Paulie Navarro, right? I don't, to be honest and be transparent, I don't support everyone on Paulie Navarro's slate. I don't. So I can't tell you to support the slate. I support progressive change, and I will let you know probably who I support or who I think is best in certain departments. And that will go on both sides. That will go on both sides, just so we can remain transparent. But I can't afford another Eric Logel to go down. But with that being said, right, we hear a lot of stuff about Paulie Navarro. Paulie Navarro was the safety officer. He was in charge of safety. Why did he let this go down? Why did he let that go down? And all this other stuff, right? This is the issue. Paulie Navarro was never the safety director. And you guys believe anything that people say without doing the proper research. Paulie Navarro was never the safety director of Local 100. And I'm going to prove to you guys what I'm talking about. You see it on the screen. This is from the union website themselves. 24-hour safety hotline. Earl Phillips, director, the TWU Local 100 Safety and Health Department. Earl Phillips is the safety and the health and safety director of Local 100. It was never Paulie Navarro. Paulie Navarro was a rep in safety in subways only, not buses, not a whole bunch of other stuff. And he had a boss. He had Earl Phillips and he had Tony Utano as a boss. And now I'm gonna give you guys more proof. Earl Phillips have been the safety director for the past, over the past decade, say Earl Phillips. Did I say that right? Earl Phillips has been the safety director for over a decade in Local 100. And I got it underlined for you right there. Mr. Phillips have been the Local 100 directors directors of health and safety and will continue to hold that title. This is when he was sworn in for Secretary Treasurer. This is back in 2011. That means that he was the health and safety director past 2011, past the decade. Was never Paulie Navarro. Some more proof. When Paul Navarro, father died, R.I.P. And it says here, I underlined that. He was the father of Paul Navarro, the union's director of safety in subways. Paul Navarro was never the director of safety of the union. It was always Earl Phillips. And then when Paulie decided to hold Utano responsible for certain things, they only told Paulie Navarro he had to stay in the union hall. He could not leave only for 12/9s. So during COVID, Paulie Navarro was never responsible. He had bosses. Earl Phillips was responsible and Tony Utano was responsible. And I want to remind you guys, the health and safety director of Local 100, Earl Phillips, these were his words. His words when management told us we could not have masks during the pandemic. I want you guys to check it out.
When I saw the news that we had 61 of our members die, and that's what brought water from my eyes. And the first thing I thought about is, is that we're all in this together. We all come to work, never expect to be doing something like this. We all want to get home to our families. And then what happened, our anxiety level is so high, and we lean on each other for support. And, if you talk about unity, this is real unity when the transit workers, the members, lean on each other for support. I went to locations and hear members speaking to each other about what they do when they get home, how to take care of themselves and their families. That is real support. When this whole thing started in January, the president and us, we sat down at the table with the New York City bus and subway heads up and fight with these bastards. If they had listened to us, we would be in a better place today. I'm only Earl Phillips. This is only Tony Utano. We are not Jesus Christ. We don't know who's going to die tomorrow. We don't predict that. But we know if you listen to us and work collectively with us, we'll be in a better place together. But again, we're in this together. We're going to bring the troops home together. And as the president said, whoever comes again down the road as the president, we're going to set a foundation here to continue to build on. So again, I can't thank you so much. It's painful, but practice safe distancing. When you get to work and you don't have the correct PPE, just ask for your PPE. These clothes that you're working in, do not take them in your house. Don't take them in your house, guys. When you get home, put them in a bag. You're right. Take off your shoes, clean them, spray them. Don't take these in your house, otherwise you will destroy your families. You have to adjust from yesteryear to today. If not, you will destroy your whole families. We didn't get a lot of education in this when we first began, but we learn from each other. So thank you so much. Stay safe, and we'll live on for tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Did you guys hear how weak that message was? This was in the midst of COVID, after they came out of hiding, when the MTA told us we couldn't have masks, when they came out of their homes while we were still working, right? He said we have to fight with these guys. If they would have listened to us, we would have been in a better place. Well, if they not listening, if the MTA wasn't listening to you guys regarding safety, why did you guys allow workers to work unsafe? And as a result of workers working unsafe, a lot of workers got infected. A lot of workers died. We lost more workers in New York City Transit than any other agency in New York City. This is a fact. This is a fact, right? he says, I'm only Earl Phillips. This is only Tony Utano. No, you are the safety director of Local 100, and that's the president of Local 100. You guys couldn't think of a better strategy to protect workers than hiding out in your homes where it was safe at, and while we continue to get infected and die? It's a poor excuse. So no, Paulie was not the safety director. So let's stop with the pandemic story. Let's stop with all this unsafe stuff. Earl Phillips is the director of safety of Local 100, and Tony Utano is his boss. They have done nothing to protect workers during that time. And then when you hear them say, you know, oh yeah, what about Paulie? You know what you tell them? F out of here. That's what you got to tell him. That's what you have to tell him. You have to tell him that, because these lies are getting out of control. These lies are getting out of control. Now, I want to point something out to you guys. It's very important. This is regarding the mandates in New York City, and the mayor saying that if today, the very day today, that if the fire department fire department, NYPD, and sanitation are not vaccinated by 5 p.m. today, they will be laid off. Right? Now, why is this important? Right? First of all, the importance of Progressive Action TV is that we control our own media. Right? If you listen to the major networks, Fox, CNN, and all this other stuff, they will try to discredit what's really going on in New York City. So thank God for grassroots programs like Progressive Action, right? So I'm going to play a video from the FDNY union boss. I forget his name, but it's a very important message. And I'm going to relate this all to transit, because the message resonates and we can relate to what's going on. We're going to talk about how these mandates, these forced mandates, will hurt the workers of New York City Transit. And we're going to talk about the silence of Tony Utano and his administration during these times. So let's get into this very important message by the FDNY union boss.
20 months ago, when the pandemic was bearing down on New York City, we knew we were going to take it in the face first. We knew it. It happened. When they told us we screwed up, we didn't prepare, we don't have PPE. Did a firehouse close? No. Not once. We were there. When we got sick, some firehouses had 65% of their members sick at one time. And the guys and girls showed up at that house, knowing they were going to get sick and bring it home to their families. We asked the department to contact trace when one of our members went sick, because firefighters were told to go from firehouse to firehouse to keep them open. They told us we don't have to. There's an exemption for first responders. We don't have to contact trace. So they didn't tell us that the person you worked with yesterday tested positive for COVID. Is that respect for New York City workers? No. Did we close a firehouse? No. Now our COVID rate is less than 0.5%. 8% of firefighters are out sick right now with injuries from firefighting. For every firefighter out with COVID, there is 16 out from doing their job. This is going to be a manufactured crisis. 30 to 40% of the police department will be sent home. EMS members, a quarter of them to a third of them will be sent home. Sanitation workers will be sent home. First responders and emergency workers in the city, we provide a service that complements each other.
They're gonna bring in martial
So when
law.
there's a car accident and you're waiting for us to get there to cut you out of that car, there won't be enough of us to go around. There won't be enough police there to block off traffic. Ambulances will be stuck in traffic. We'll be stuck in traffic. This whole thing is going to collapse. The statistics on what goes on here. Every day, there's 65 heart attacks. Last year, there was 24,000 fires a day, 65 a day. Average response time is 4.5 minutes. What's going to happen when that response time goes up? People are going to die. They're going to be waiting for us to get there. When there aren't enough fire trucks to go around to the fires, 65.
Now, this message was very important. And the reason it is so important is because last year, March, we lost a train operator in the fire, right? And could you imagine now with these mandates that it's very possible that firefighters may not even respond to the scene in time, which would not only put the men and women who ride New York City Transit, but also the members of Local 100, train crews, cleaners, track workers. Track fires happen every day in which firefighters respond to these emergencies. Now, picture we don't have their help in putting out fires. How many of our lives will be in danger? And we're not only talking about the workers, we are talking about the riding public. This is very important. NYPD. We already have a problem with NYPD in our subways and responding to incidences. Right now, we seeing more people getting arrested for guns on the subway, stabbings on the subway, robberies on the subway. Now imagine the police don't show up at all, not even to take a report, let alone arrest someone. Where is Local 100 at on these issues? Why aren't they standing with the NYPD labor president? And I don't agree with Pat Lynch, but this is something us as Americans need to stand together on, right? Why isn't Local 100 president standing with the FDNY president? Them not coming to work because of some manufactured mandate hurts transit workers. It could possibly put our lives in danger. Every day, if there's a smoke condition, the MTA tell that train to go through that smoke condition and just cut off your air comfort. That's dangerous within itself. We already seen that cost someone their life. But for some reason, Tony Utano don't see anything wrong with this. He don't see in coalition building with other unions. Local 100 have been missing on this mandate topic since it started. And guess what? Guess who's going to get hurt? The members of Local 100. Because you want to know what? Tony Utano don't take the train. He don't work on a train. He don't work on the tracks. Tony Utano have a car, and not only does he have a car, he has a driver. The VPs, they don't take the train. And if they do, it's just for a photo op. They have cars. They don't work in the subways. They don't do anything with the subways. So guess who's in danger, ladies and gentlemen? We are. The riding public, the workers, the people who make this city run. And this is why the union not supporting this is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. And I don't get the complacency in this serious matter. I don't get the complacency in this serious matter. We must coalition build with other unions because firefighters and police not coming to work directly affects transit workers. Wasn't the union talking about how many times transit workers get assaulted and we need more police protection? Well, where are they at now? Where's the union stance on these manufactured mandates? Why isn't the union standing with the FDNY and NYPD and say, hey, if we could have a testing option, then they can too. We stand in solidarity with them. See, the problem is Tony Utano and his administration, they don't believe in solidarity. They don't believe in unionism, to be honest with you. They believe in themselves. They are selfish individuals who only care about their friends and family. That's all they care about. When they was talking about, Utano had a Zoom meeting talking about that he wouldn't even allow his kids to ride the subway. He would give his kids Uber money before he have them ride these subways. So the subways is not safe for his kids, but it's safe for the workers who he's sworn to represent. Let's think about that, ladies and gentlemen. He's one of the worst union presidents ever, and he don't believe in coalition building. He don't believe in working with the opposition. If Tony Utano wanted to work with me for a common cause that will uplift the members, I would do that. But he don't believe in that. He only believes in himself, his family, and his friends. That is it. We should all be family to him. Don't we use that terminology, brothers and sisters? That's why I say I don't want to use that terminology no more, because they don't believe in that. We're not their brothers and sisters. We're not their family. We're a paycheck to them. That's all we are. That's all we are to them. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, I need you guys to pay attention. I need you guys to pay attention, because historically, the MTA and the union administration have a working relationship, and that working relationship is not beneficial to workers. It's beneficial to keeping weak union administration in office so the MTA can have their way with the members. So people say, well, Tremel, what you mean? Well, if you notice, our union have a testing mandate. I mean, we have a testing option, right? So you could vaccine or test weekly. Well, that's good, Tremel. It is good. But the MTA, they want a vaccine mandate. But what would happen if they give a vaccine mandate? The members would not vote for this administration. See, and this is what I try to tell you guys. This is how the MTA meddles in our elections. They will help the union by not forcing us with certain things until after the election and they get another 3 years in office. See, they know that us transit workers, we forgive and we forget quick fast. So we already forgot the things that they did to us last contract, but I'm going to remind you guys during this show because I got it lined up. We forget the stuff that they did 3 years ago because we tend to forget. We tend to not care, right? So the vaccine mandate is coming to transit workers after the election. I promise you guys. I want you guys to mark this show. I promise you the vaccine mandates are coming after the union election, after the damage is already done, if they get reelected in, right? And in fact, no matter who gets elected in, the mandates is coming. And what the MTA is doing to cover for themselves. See, they know they can't mandate us right now for two reasons. They need to help Utano win, and they don't got the clientele to make this city run if they decide to do mandates. See, one thing the MTA do is that they pay attention to numbers. It's a numbers game with all of them, right? A lot of transit workers are not vaccinated. So if they put a mandate on us, this transit system falls apart. It falls apart, right? So what the MTA is doing right now, they are expediting. Once again, Eric Logel fell for the trap. Oh, we're going to cut some training off to onboard train operators faster. What does that do? That allows the transit authority to possibly hire people to replace people once these mandates don't come, because now every new employee must be vaccinated in order to work for the New York City Transit. See, this is what I'm talking about. These people just don't see what's happening. They think that they helping the workers, but they not helping the workers. The union is basically helping the MTA with our replacements. The go along, get along gang. That's what I call them. The go along, get along gang help the MTA with our potential replacements once these mandates come in, because they are coming, right? And Tremel, what proof do you have they coming? Once again, I tell you guys, you must pay attention to these MTA board meetings. You must pay attention to them because they starting the narrative. And I'm going to play it for you guys. The MTA board meeting, when was it? Last Wednesday, the MTA board meeting was. And an MTA board member by the name of Robert Lynn started the narrative of vaccine mandates. I'm going to play it for you guys.
And the challenges that we face are extraordinary, and I think there is so much work to do, and it's exciting to be part of that. I do want to say that the reflection of 4 deaths in our MTA family from COVID is a real indication of what an extraordinary safety issue this is. I know people have talked about whether it's a labor or management right on vaccination. I believe with the demonstration of 4 deaths over the last month that this is a labor management obligation to make certain that the workforce is safe, to make certain that the conditions are safe. I think that what happened with the Department of Education, where now 95% of the teachers are vaccinated, given their teaching of children who are unvaccinated, how extraordinarily important that was, and how we have to emulate that. I think the fact that the city today has announced mandated vaccination among its police and fire is a statement of something we need to look at. We can't have illness and death in our family. We can't expose the public to the COVID illness. It's getting cold, and we see in the northern states where there is so much many more cases as winter hits those states of the Canadian border. We have to focus on this, and I think that I understand you have made an extraordinary effort, but I think the laser focus must continue, and all the resources we can put together to make certain that we have a workforce that's as vaccinated as our teachers is incredibly important, and we should get there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Like I said, vaccine mandates are coming to New York City Transit. Now, let me tell you, I could poke holes in his story all day. He tried to use the death of 4 transit workers saying as a reason as to why we need vaccine mandates like teachers, because he's claiming that 95% of the teachers are vaccinated. Now, one thing he didn't mention was the 4 transit workers who died recently, were they vaccinated? He didn't mention that, and he doesn't even know were they vaccinated, right? So he don't know if vaccinated workers died. But they are starting the narrative of vaccine mandates in New York City Transit, and they are referencing the teachers as to why we need these mandates. I don't believe in I believe in vaccines. I don't believe in vaccine mandates. And people who don't believe in vaccine mandates are not anti-vax. We just don't believe in vaccine mandates. And that's that, right? But like I told you guys, these MTA board meetings are very important. If you can't make it to 2 Broadway, it's like the 3rd Wednesday of the month. If you can't make it to 2 Broadway, you can watch it live. They live stream it on YouTube. So you must pay attention to what's going on here. They say some important stuff at these board meetings, and you must pay attention to what's going on here. Now, this union administration, the past decade, they have failed us, right? And I could go through every contract and show you a failure of something that they have done, just negotiating contracts. But I'm only go pull the 2019, our current contract from 2019 to 2023, the contract that we currently in. And I'm going to point out a couple of things to you guys as to how this union administration failed us. And we cannot afford for them to negotiate another contract for us right now. They was negotiating weak contracts before the pandemic. Now, after the pandemic, they are going to do worse, right? Because the MTA really have a reason to cry poverty this time, right? Ridership is low. It's not like it used to be. The MTA have a whole bunch of excuses as to why we should get zeros, right? And the union almost got us zeros last contract, and I'm going to point it out to you guys, right? So as you can see, I have two things. I'm gonna call it circled off in red and yellow. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about is the red is our wages, right? The 2%, the 2.25%, the 2.5%. Well, the 2.25%, 2.5%, and 2.75% wage increases. What's the issue with that? Let me explain to you guys the smoke and mirrors of what this union administration do, right? So what they would say, and this be a lie out the bat. Out the bat, this be a lie. We got raises above inflation. Let me explain this to you guys. First of all, these were not the inflation rates during the time of this contract. This was not the inflation rates, right? The inflation rates was about 3%. So we didn't get raises above inflation. I pointed that out during that time, during the last contract, right? The next thing I'm going to point out is, guess what? McDonald's workers got raises above inflation's. Does that mean that they could survive in the city in which they work? No, they cannot. I believe fast food workers got raises like 15%, something outrageous. 15% is way above inflation. But if you're not making a dollar amount to survive in the city in which you work, it doesn't matter, right? So for years, transit workers have fallen. Matter of fact, since 1988, I believe transit workers have fallen behind other city agencies because we lost COLA. FDNY has COLA. NYPD has COLA. Sanitation has COLA. Corrections has COLA, right? So people would say, well, our jobs is not as dangerous as theirs. All right, so tell us the danger of a sanitation worker and the danger of a transit worker, right? They still got one of the best contracts in the city year after year after year after year. Why transit workers don't have that? Because we let go of COLA in 1988, I believe, 88, 87, and it never came back. For those who don't know what COLA is, that's cost of living allowance, right? That almost ensures that you will be able to survive in the city, to live in the city in which you work comfortably. Transit workers, we are not living in the city comfortably. I coined the term transit refugees. We don't live in the city in which we work. We're living in Pennsylvania. We're living in New Jersey. We're living in Connecticut. Some of us is living in Delaware. We're not living in this city. And if we are living in this city, a lot of people may not want to admit it because everybody want to make it seem like that they're living, is that it's a struggle. You cannot survive off of 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week in New York City working as a transit worker. No how, no way. You cannot take care of your family off of 40 hours a week. A lot of transit workers are surviving because they are living at work 50, 60 hours a week. A lot of people don't want to talk about it, but that's the truth. That is the truth. And there's no other way around it. So, like, what do I have here? In the red, I already explained what's in the red. Now, what's circled in the yellow, I want you to pay attention what happened during the pandemic. The union said, we struck a deal with the MTA to provide a stipulation of any worker who died from COVID, their family will be paid $500,000. Another smoke screen. Tremel, what's the smoke screen? This is the smoke screen regarding the COVID stipulation. We already had a line of duty death benefit for $500,000. We already had that during the contract. Why did the union stipulate a separate deal with the MTA for COVID? Why? Because if you die in the line of duty, that means that the MTA could be held accountable for not protecting workers during being at work, while being at work. If you look at the stipulation, the COVID stipulation that the union signed, it says that the member who died, they cannot sue the MTA, right? But if you die on the line of duty and we could prove that it was the transit authority fault, like the safety rule dispute resolution forms that Ben Valdez and myself signed, or I won't say signed, but we demanded, where the MTA said that we don't need masks, or if we wear masks, it's against uniform policy on bins, and they said that they wasn't cleaning our operating positions. They said that. Now, if the union wouldn't never stipulated this $500,000 COVID agreement with them, then we will have lawsuits. These families will be able to sign, to sue the MTA, which would have been worth millions of dollars. And every family member who died deserved to sue the MTA because they told us we couldn't do certain things to protect ourselves. Now, Tramel, how could you prove that you got COVID from work? Easy. I was one of the first to go out on COVID. If I wasn't the first, I believe I was the first to go out on workers' comp from COVID. And guess what? The MTA didn't controvert my claim. They did not disagree that I got COVID from work. So if they didn't disagree that I got COVID from work, and let's just say I would have died, it would have been a line of duty death benefit, $500,000. My family would have been able to sue. So what the union did is that they signed a stipulation that capped every family off at $500,000. And let's be clear, the families didn't get $500,000. The families had to pay taxes on that $500,000, so left them with around $300,000. So Local 100 signed a COVID stipulation that said that you're only worth $300 and something thousand. Your family member is only worth $300 and something thousand. We're going to take the side of the MTA and screw you and your family, even though we had a $500,000 death benefit, line of duty death benefit in our contract, along with a $50,000 active service benefit. Do you guys see how they sold us out during this whole pandemic? Do you guys see what's going on here? This is major. This is major. Once again, if the MTA was not controverting COVID cases and accepted that we got COVID from work, why did the union not exercise the contract of the $500,000 active duty death benefit, in which, again, family members would have been able to sue the MTA for the wrongful death of employees by denying us masks in the beginning of this pandemic, by threatening to write us up due to some uniform policy, by not cleaning our operating positions, our work locations. Why did the union protect the MTA more than they protected the workforce? This is serious business, people. This is serious business. And this is why I say that you guys must share out these shows, because nobody is going to give it to you guys raw like I am. Like I said, I just looked at my wrist. I got time today. F it, I'm crossing the line today. The hate be so real, but the love be fake. I'm telling you guys, I am coming with the true, real information. And this is why none of these guys want to debate me. I mean, if I'm so wrong, you can easily say, Tramel, I want to come on your show and debate some of these things that you're saying because you're lying. They know I'm not lying, and they are afraid to debate me on the issues. Another thing that's bad on this contract and why you should not vote this current administration in. Our emergency room visits go up to $100. And the only time you don't have to pay that $100 is when you're being admitted. So let's just say your child happened to break their arm, like children tend to do, after hours. You're going to have to go to that emergency room and pay $100. Let's say if your child is running a fever. During this whole COVID, we got a new variant here. And they say we got a variant on top of the variant. Your child is running a fever. You're concerned. You go to the emergency room. Now you have to pay $100. Do these people who negotiate our contracts understand children? No, I'm going to tell you what it is. Their kids are grown. Their kids are 30 and 40 years old, 20, 30, 40 years old. They forgot what it was to be a parent. And you know what they say? Screw the members. We don't care how many times they have to go to the emergency room. That's on them. Look what else is on that page. Generics, $0. Brand name, $20. Non-formulary, $40. Our co-pays on medicine have went up. And have went up. And guess what? They don't care. They don't care because it's not them. It's not them. Do you guys know that the union reps, I think specifically Tony Utano, have a different, the guy who negotiates our health benefits, he doesn't pay a copay. How about that? Tony Utano have better health insurance than the members themselves. Did you guys know that the president of Local 100 have better health benefits than the members he is sworn to represent? Did you guys know that? Well, you know today. Another thing that this union has failed, and I have pointed this out plenty of times, the New York paid family leave. They failed to complete this agreement. Actually, our last contract is an open-ended agreement. It's a lot of stuff in the contract is not solidified. And this is one of them. Something as important as New York paid family leave. Like I told you guys, this can help women who need more time after giving birth. This can help you to help take care of that sick family member, your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle. This could have helped us during COVID. Why isn't New York paid family leave implemented in our contract yet? This union administration don't care. This union administration does not care. Now, someone sent me an experience match. That's what they called it, an experience match that was put out there by TA Surface Reps. We talking about JP Patafio and his crew, right? They put out a comparison match trying to compare what they have done to the people who's running against them, Rob Martinez and crew on Progressive Change. Now, they tried to be funny and say the opponents was crickets, but let's look at some of their accomplishments, JP Patafio and them. Let's point out a couple of them. Increase audit pay from 25 cents to $2. Really, $2 is not enough. This is another play in which they're protecting the MTA. An audit bus is another bus. So you have one driver driving two buses, which is saving the MTA almost $30-something an hour. And you call $2 increase audit pay a victory when you saving them $30-something an hour, right? You saving them health benefits of another employee. You saving them the training of onboarding another employee. You saving them over probably $150,000 a year. And you call $2 increase in audit pay a win. And we're only talking about seat time. We're not talking about every hour. We're only talking about the hours that bus operator is driving that bus, maybe 6 hours. So we talking about maybe $12 extra a day. This is what we talking about. They called that a victory. They call longer swing times, 30 to 40 minutes. You should want longer swing times for your operators. They have a very demanding job, a safety-sensitive job with no safety protections like we have in the subways. You should want them attentive when they drive in these buses. So they swing time should be nothing less than 60 minutes, but you call 30 to 40 minutes a victory. Now, we talking about people who've been in office. They ain't just come in office last election. They've been in office for over a decade. Same leadership. What else can we point out from this list? Let's see. Negotiated several successful contracts. I just pointed out a whole bunch of things wrong with these contracts. That is a lie. Improve uniform selection. Once again, you should want your drivers driving well-rested and comfortable. This is not a win. These are things that you guys should be doing anyway. It's like a doctor saying, hey, I checked your blood pressure and I realized your blood pressure was high and I gave you medicine. Well, that was your job. Nothing on this list is extraordinary. This is things that they should be doing. This is like your mailman saying, hey, I delivered your mail on time today. Well, that's your job. That's your job. And this is the smoke screen that these guys create. Now, on this list just came out this week. Guess what they left out off this list? How well they fought COVID. That's because they didn't fight COVID well. They know they dropped the ball during COVID. Why none of them put how they fought management during COVID? Because they didn't. It was not them who said that shower curtains was sufficient. It was Alexander Kemp that said shower curtains wasn't sufficient. It wasn't them that said cut off front door boarding. It was Jocelyn McCray that said cut off front door boarding. And Enrique, forgot my boy, Enrique, right? It was them who did the front door boarding, not any of the elected reps. So why aren't they calling COVID a victory? Because they know they dropped the ball and they want us to forget about COVID. This election, they want us to forget about COVID, but this pandemic showed us how weak this union administration really is. And you guys got to take a look at their faces, man. You got to look at their faces. They're not battle tested. They're not battle tested. They failed during the real battle when safety was on the line. They failed. One of the most important jobs of a union rep is to make sure that their members are working safe. They failed during this real battle that we face as transit workers. And to be honest, I don't dislike a lot of them. You know, I'm cool with some. I think some of them is okay. A lot of people don't like Richie Davis. I have no problem with Richie Davis, even though I bash him on the show. You know, I think that Richie Davis could do a way better job. I'm not mad at JP. I like JP, but JP has to go. We got to show JP what real union leadership looks like. Shirley Martin, biggest disappointment. I heard a lot of good things about her. Biggest disappointment on this list. Visconti has to go. Robert Kelly, sellout. Strictly sellout. Eric, he has to go. He has to go. We got to show him what real union leadership is. Witchard has to go. Earl has to go. Latanya, she's okay. Not mad at Latanya. You know what I'm saying? Like, it must be tough working amongst all these men, specifically speaking, Tony Utano. It must be tough for you. But to be honest, they all gotta go. Even though I may like them, they all gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Some of these people are nice people, but they not good union leaders. Not good union leaders. And that's what I want to point out to you guys. Someone could be nice. They would be nice to go out to have dinner with, nice to have drinks. You could go chill with them. Your kids could play with their kids. That don't make them good union leaders. That doesn't make them good union leaders. And that's what we have to separate as transit workers. Yes, some of these guys on this list are nice guys. I like talking to JP. I like talking to Richie Davis when I run into him sometime. I like talking to, you know what? I like talking to Witchard sometime too, but Witchard is a sellout. But they are not good union leaders, and they must go. I hear the same thing about Utano. Utano is a very nice guy. Nice guys don't make great union leaders. They just don't. They just don't. So if they want to be nice guys, they could start some type of boys club, boys and girls club, and they could be nice guys over there. Here in New York City Transit, we need radical, militant, uncompromising, 10 toes down, intelligent, logical leadership. That's what we need here in Local 100. And that's what I tell you guys. You guys must share out these shows. These shows are very important. Nobody is doing the work of what Progressive Action is doing. Nobody. Point them out. Where they at? Nobody's doing it. You got people lying to the members. You got people not presenting the right facts. I challenge anyone on Stand United to debate me. Let's have a conversation live on air. Let's talk about whatever they want to talk about. Let's talk about whatever they want to talk about. I'm willing to talk about whatever. Tag your favorite union rep to the show and tell them Trammell said to come out and play. Trammell said to come out and play. I would talk with any one of them regarding anything they want to talk about here. Any one of them. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. We could do whatever. But I'll tell you guys this. You guys got to do more supporting of the platform. A lot of y'all don't be donating, and it makes no sense. It makes no. Y'all give away y'all money to Local 100 and get nothing in return. But I give you a weekly address every week. I got Roberto and Kemp. I think they starting their show Sunday at 8 o'clock. They're going to be giving you guys information in buses, and it's not going to stop after the election. I promise you guys, if it does stop, I'm going to get rid of them. I'm telling you guys now. Y'all guys better not stop doing the right thing for the members. But yeah, and we're expanding. We're expanding in stations. We're expanding in buses. Map Store, TA Surface, MTA bus, private lines. We're expanding in MOW. We're expanding in RTO. We creating a real grassroots platform for you guys. We're expanding outside of New York City Transit with Teachers for Choice, members of the DOE. Shout out to my brother Mo Oliver. Shout out to Michael Kane. Shout out to Stephanie Edmonds. You know, this is about coalition building moving forward. And I'm going to give you guys the best of what you guys deserve. You know, we all Americans. We all should be standing for freedom. We all should be anti-mandate. You could be pro-vax, but you should be anti-mandate. And we got to start fighting together. We would never win these battles alone. We got to start fighting together. And I'm happy that a lot of people see the value in progressive action and the fight that we have been bringing for the past 7 years. We've grown a lot. We have a lot of followers. We have a lot of supporters. And I'm going to step up, me personally, I'm going to step up the heat. I'm going to step up the pressure because people don't know poor union leadership affects our lives. It affects our families. It affects the city. When fares go up, guess what? Fares go up at a higher rate than our raises, right? So our families got to pay more to ride the subways when we bring it home less, when cost of living is going up, right? So we got to pay attention to the whole chessboard. We can't just think about, oh, we got this and F everyone else, or the union say we getting this and we don't do the research and things of that nature. These guys got to go. Chiarello, he has to go. They all got to go. You know what I mean? Some of these guys are evil. You know, it was told to me that Chiarello was trying to get me fired through management. I believe that. I believe that. And these guys work for management. So why would I not think that? You understand? So these guys have to go. I am not going to support any specific candidates. I will interview certain candidates if they pay or donate to the platform to get an interview, to reach thousands of people. I will do it. I will ask them the tough questions. I don't care what side they're on. But I will support progressive change. My fault. Progressive action is not running. There is a difference between progressive change and progressive action. They are not the same, but I do support progressive change. Not everybody on progressive change. I will. I do support Pauline Navarro, but I do support progressive change as a whole. Anything is better than what we have now because they have been selling us out. It won't hurt us to try something new. So I do support progressive change, and I will be doing lives, specific lives on particular candidates on Stand United to show you how they have failed their members, and that's how that's gonna work. I was gonna do a live today about a particular member, but I want to see if they're going to help with a particular situation first, so I can add that on to the live. And we're going to see what's going on here. Originally I did want everyone to run their own race, and I was going to stay out of this election, but I ain't gonna lie, Eric Logel made me mad these past couple of weeks. And I can't allow certain things to go on. So it's really his fault that I'm getting involved this election. And especially in my department. It is his fault. I really wanted my department to run their own race, but it's his fault that I'm getting involved. And so thank him. And y'all, and the other ones on Stand United, you could thank him because I'm going to go air out y'all departments too. I already started making visits in bus depots, saying hello to the members and speaking to some of the members. So expect to see me around in Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, letting the members know what's going on, all thanks to Eric Logel. But I may decide to stay out of it a little bit if he helps out. He got to fix something. 2 weeks, he got 2 weeks to fix something. If he don't fix it, it's on and popping. It's on and popping. But yeah, like I said, it's very important for you guys to check out the show, support the show, share the show, donate to the platform. The Cash App is Progressive Action 100. I think it is a pay week, right? I think we got like almost 80 people watching. Y'all could donate $20 a piece to the Cash App. Donate $20 a piece to the Cash App. You could donate more, donate more. The cost of living is going up with some of this equipment and some of these things that I use over here and to keep the platform running. So I definitely appreciate the donations if you could do it. But yeah, thanks for joining and watching Progressive Action. Share out the show. It's going to be coming every week. Watch out for Rob and Alexander Kemp's show Sundays, I believe, at 8 p.m. And make sure that you guys pay attention. We got a lot of stuff coming in the next coming weeks. And once again, my commercial has started playing on cable television. I am the labor and transit leader that New York City needs. I created my own lane, and we're going to do what it needs to do. For those who's watching on Facebook, I put the Cash App tag name in the description. No, in the comments if you're watching live on Facebook. In the description of the video on Facebook, you could donate via Cash App, Patreon, or I believe PayPal. On Twitter, if you look on my profile page, you will see like a money button. You could donate there. And if you're watching on YouTube, just hit the Cash App. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.